and welcome along to another day on the LPGA Tour of Korea. Another gorgeous day for golf at this fantastic course celebrating its 10th anniversary, nestled into the mountains and putting our field of 132 competitors to the test. 21 degrees right now on course. Some clouds in the sky, mainly sunny, though only a 40% chance of precipitation over the course of the afternoon. And the action, it is red hot as we take you right out to course, and we begin with an approach shot. Up and onto the green, nothing in the path of this attempt from Pak Jiyoung. 77 meters out, her third at the par 5 ninth, looking dead center of this green. 10 yards off the back is where she needs to be. Just quite didn't have enough carry to get up the hill, but the ball will stay firmly planted right there, and that is what separates her and a look for birdie. And to the 10th, Lee Daeyeon, she currently sits 3 strokes back. A chance to get within 2 with a make here. It's going to be a little bit of a left to right at the end. The pace is going to be paramount here. Well, it's starting on line. It has a chance, and she does have a birdie. That moves her to 3 under par, 4 birdies on her front 9 to go along with 2 bogeys, and after the turn, back in the birdie column and finds herself in sole possession of 3rd place. Yoo-Hae Ran, she has been the player to beat through 4 events this season. Trying to work herself back higher into contention, and shots like that are a very, very positive sign. A short look at bird to get her to 5 under at the turn. And to the 10th. It's Kwon So-yeon, just a little bit too much power, preventing it from having a chance. Decent attempt at the line, but she lets that opportunity for birdie pass her by. And Peng Min-ji quietly having herself a very good round. This to get to 4 under par, but she's pulled it to the inside. Even through the day, after posting an opening round of 69 yesterday, bogeys at the 3rd, 4th, and birdies at the 6th and 7th. Now the par save at number 10. And missed that one as well, so a dropped shot. And down into a tie for 37th goes Kwon So-yeon, her 2nd birdie in the last 3 holes. Now needing to get up the hill and start this putt on line. The weight was perfect. Im Ji-ni, meanwhile, at 11. Rattles that one in. Birdies at the 5th and the last. Bring her back to even for the day. Should be nothing more than a formality for Yoo-Hae Ran here at the 9th. Little left to right. And down it goes. Pulls herself into a tie for 5th position and is within 4 strokes heading to the hill course. ENG, her par save is made at 11. Well, we started the event with 132 competitors. We've seen a pair of withdrawals, Kim So-yi and Kim Yoon-gyo. That leaves us with 130 players in contention for the title at the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open. Both Cho-Ayan and Lee-Ga-yeon had started the round much earlier in the day. They began the second round on the 10th tee. It was a 67 for Lee-Ga-yeon, and Cho-Ayan with a 69 today to go with her 66 yesterday. Those are our co-leaders at 9 under par. And a look at the 10th, the very first hole of the hill course. Down the hill from the tee blocks, in between two sets of sand traps on either side of the fairway before dogleg right kicks in. And from the tee to the fairway should leave just a short wedge, slightly uphill to the putting surface on the day. The pin location 14 yards off the front and 13 yards from the left. And be a little bit more aggressive attacking the backside of the green, have a little bit of a roll back down, especially with the backspin already inherently involved with the wedge. Only 71 meters for Kim So-ji. First to play. Doesn't quite get the carry she would have liked, but she is putting. Jihan Sol, she is in the midst of a very good round. 71 yesterday, just 1 under par, but she's already 3 under for the day. That is the joint second highest score behind only Lee Ga-yeon, who of course is through all 18 holes. Her approach up. There's the aforementioned spin. She'll be sitting about 5 meters beyond, also playing with the wind at their backs with this approach. Average putting distance just outside of the top 20, around 6 meters on average for Isomi throughout the year. Her second. Well, nicely up, splits the difference between the first two players on the approach, and will be quite happy with what remains for her birdie. There's Putt, her second at the par 5. Not quite the distance to reach, though. Sat up nicely for a little flop onto the green. And the next play in the group following suit, trying to rebound from a disappointing missed par putt. By the end of 18 holes yesterday, we had 8 players in a tie for second with opening rounds of 68. Then another bunch, 9 in fact, tied at 3 under. Everyone was chasing Cho-Ayan. Everyone continues to chase her. One of the closest to getting up to that 9 under mark is Lee Ga-yeon. In a neat little line Some short game strokes will be next from one of our featured groups on the day. New Iran, the money and points leader through 4 events. She's put in performance after performance and of course was rewarded for it with a big win at the Nexon St. Nine Masters. She posted a tournament score of 16 under par, 272 strokes through 4 rounds. We saw glimpses from her throughout the season last year. Often her undoing was her putter, but she has been absolute top marks. G just outside to the right. Back to 10. Jiang, 1 under for the tournament. She has been driving exceptionally well. She's been the best in the field even. Another nice effort with driver. Now Jiansel for birdie. She abandoned it relatively early. She knew she was offline. Bit of a stumble on the way in yesterday with back-to-back bogeys at 16 and 17. And today, of course, 3 under, going out with a 33. Birdies at 4, 6, and the 9th. To 13. So Yeon Jung even on the day. She'll get a pretty nice bounce and roll, finishing just beyond pin high. And Isomi at 10, just outside of 2 meters. She too has pushed this wide of target. The approach for Dayan. Nice loft on that. Spins back about a meter and a half. Oh boy. Another unfortunate missed putt from in close, just like we saw from Soyeon, and down she will go back down the slope towards the front edge of the green. Also needing a little bit more club there. Peng Min-ji playing her second at 12. Around pin high and a downhill birdie putt next for her from about 6 meters back towards the center of the green. tailing off to a nice finish. Taking no chances getting up and above the pin. And Yu Heran hits it and sticks it, carrying the sand and up onto the green. And after a nice tee shot at the 13th, So Yeon-jung to get to 3 under par. No. Misrated the line. She will be settling for par, still at even for the day. Pretty good up from Park Ji-young. Winner of the second event of the season, the Mediheal and Google Boat Championship 3 weeks ago. Had some ground to make up with a heavy whack and about 2.5 meters past the pin.
Okay.
Back with that group in a moment. In the meantime, we will head to 11.
Okay.
Isumi, a top 10 finish last week. The 44th KLPGA Championship presented by Chris F&C, and if not for a final round that saw her post a 3 over clip, she might have found herself in and around a top 5 finish. And walking that one in and celebrating before it even dropped. It's another birdie for Lee Daeyeon, now within 1 stroke. Back-to-back birdies again for the 3rd time in the round. And that will update our leaderboard and have her knocking at the door. Well, and here is how she has made this climb. Been putting exceptionally well. Hasn't left herself with many opportunities from in close, but she has found that range. It was a bogey to start the round at the first. Found her first birdie at the par 3 third, and was overshooting on the 4th, but the slope would say, I'll help you out here. Closer and closer it would go, just outside of a meter. She would hole out. A degree of difficulty on that birdie, but despite the distance, back-to-back birdies then. She would par the 5th and then on to hole number 6. Bring it to 2 under for the day, and as we've just mentioned, the back-to-back birdies, they have been a trend. This is her attempt up onto the green at the 7th, again inside the shadow of the flag. Another slight left to right, and made the most of it. Now the 8th would cause her a bit of difficulty, having her 2nd bogey of the round, parring the 9th, and then just about 15 minutes ago at number 10, moving her into sole possession of 3rd, 2 back, and of course, the putt we just saw at 11. Averaging 234 meters off the tee. She has had 15 putts through 11 holes. That's a pretty remarkable average to have. 8 of 9 fairways in regulation and 8 of 11 greens in regulation through the first 11 holes of her round. The first hole of her back nine, Yuhei Ren trying to start with a birdie. Sails it out wide and it wanted to move back. A little bit extra juice on that takes it offline and away from her birdie. Feng Ji, a chance to get to 4 under. Does it have the legs? No, not quite. And another tap-in par for her. Bogeys at the 3rd and 4th. She had back-to-back birdies at the 6th and 7th, and now 5 pars in a row. Baek Ji-young, not quite on the line she needed to be, so she too will be looking to save par. Should be just a simple tap-in finish. Back with Lee So-mi, so now 2 top 10 finishes on the season. 2 of her 3 events inside that mark. Of course, finishing as the runner-up at the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open to begin the year. She was 24th at the Nexen St. Nine Masters. And finds herself once again in the hunt, picking up where she left off by the end of 2021. Just a tremendous season for her, finishing 5th in the points. And the par saved. And following up on her win at the Medellin Google Bow, she was 7th at the Nexen St. Nine Masters, also in a tie for 10th last week. 284. She's right in the thick of it again. 2nd in the points and the money through 4 events. And starting to make a bit of a splash once again up the leaderboard as everyone continues to try and chase down Choyun and Lee Ga-young at 9 under par. Lee Da-yeon in sole possession of 3rd at 8 under. Take a quick break and be back to Kingsdale momentarily here at the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open. And back to the course we go, and some trouble right off the hop, not carrying enough speed to get up the hill. And Isomi will be stuck with a rather tricky putt to try and mitigate some of the damage here. And a 12, Idayan trying to get this to the back half of the green, back third even, just 10 yards off of the back left side pin location as well today. Well, not only is she putting exquisitely, the approach game is certainly helping her as well. That would be well inside her range based on the precedent she has set for herself through the first 60% of her round. Now Isomi, birdie seems unlikely, but now she just wants to get herself in close for a par, and she's done that. Good effort up the hill. Now a 9-meter look at birdie at the 12th for Bakyal. Back onto the hill for a moment. Drops it back on the line, just runs out of speed. And now Isomi, her fifth and, in her case, hopefully final stroke of this hole. Rattles in her birdie, her par, excuse me. Has her 1 under and a little bit frustrated knowing she let an opportunity slide here. To the par 3, 13th, ENG. She had herself on the line, but was walking up before that ball was even close to coming to a stop. Looks to the heavens as well, looking for answers and looking for a little bit of help from the golf gods. Still 5 holes to play after this. Idayan could find herself in a share of the lead. Yes. Yes, indeed. 3 birdies in a row. This time letting the iron help her out. A very nice approach indeed. Well, yesterday that would not have been that bad of an end result, but today with another incredibly difficult pin placement, and that is going to leave at least 2 tricky putts to come back towards the pin. The 13th hole, 152-meter par 3, sand and a pretty significant slope to the left side of the green. The pin placement today, 16 yards off the front and 11 yards from the right of the green. And the lay of the land, rather tricky, especially that back right, how much further up relatively flat hole, slightly downhill, not by much. It's 19 meters deep, this 13th green, 17 meters across.
조금 더 나오셔야 될 것 같아요.
좀만 더 들어가 주세요.
네.
좀 나와주시면.
아니요, 거기가 괜찮아요. 네. 네, 괜찮을 것 같아요. 감사합니다.
있으면 약간 숙성할게요.
네.
네, 하겠습니다.
And throughout 2022, around 7 meters on average. The remaining distance off the tee of these par threes, she is tied for 17th, having reached 3/4 of the greens off the tee, and yes, she is far and away the most impressive and consistent player on the course right now. Still has some time to build a bit of a cushion for herself. Bomi, the defending champion at this event, and it was shots like this that helped set her up for success in 2021, especially. I will always remember her 70, what would be a 72nd, but 54th and final hole last year, where she found the cart path and picked up an extra, say, 25, 30 meters into a favorable lie, and then she continued to play aggressive on the way to her first professional victory. A final round 69, the second best of her weekend, on the way to top spot on the podium. Not quite the same result to the extreme back left for Yuhei Ren. Kuchiu has just enough to get over that first rise and didn't have quite enough to carry it the rest of the way, but from where she started that putt, that's not a bad result. Only 1 under for the day, however. Still lots of golf to play as she nears the turn, having started at the 10th hole. Pacquiao 9 of 12. Greens in regulation on the day. She's going to get a decent little bounce from the fringe and gets this thing online. Nicely done off the tee. So a 2-meter par putt downhill, little left to right, and she knew she was off the line. And now her second bogey of the round through 8 holes on her day. Dropping out of that tie for 5th position and back down to 4 under par. To 11, a high lofted bit of short game and inside a couple of meters. Nicely done from just off the front. Isomi from the fairway on the par 4. She's gonna have just enough to stay on the green, yes. but nearing the fringe to the left side. Jian Sol, 122 meters out for her here at 12. And look at this. Well, it's certainly one of the more vocal supporters groups around the course right now. The Jian Sol fan section appreciating that one, as they should. Now Kimi G for birdie at 17. Back to back now through her 7th and 8th hole of the day. She finds herself within 5 of our leaders. Yuhei Ran putting from the fringe. You could see just how much that was bouncing and bobbling. Hangs that one about 5 meters shy. Still has a pretty good tester remaining for par. After a nice tee shot, just 4 meters remains. Looking for birdie, and she's got it. Wasn't totally sold as it left the putter, but has just enough speed to get it. She leaps into the top 10 with that effort. Now Yuhei ran for birdie. Even if it had a shot, caroms off the ball marker in her path. And in a bit of a bizarre circumstance, technically a 3-putt par, having made her first attempt from the fringe. Keeps her at 5 under and a tie for 5th. Seventeenth putt of the day for Ideon. Does she have a 4th consecutive birdie in store? This would take her to double digits under par. She'd be the first to get there. Unbelievable. That is 8 birdies through 13 holes, and if not for bogeys of the 1st and the 8th, she would be 3 strokes clear. Five holes still to play too. Daunting to think about for those who started early in the morning and are just watching Jo-Ann start to put some serious distance between her and the rest of the field. Finally a birdie at the 11th, Park Ji-young. And Bak Bo-mi for eagle. Nicely done indeed. We only saw one of those yesterday in round number 1. And the first eagle of the day belongs to the defending champion. Isomi, long distance putt with her third at the par 4. Missing to the left of the cup. Birdie yesterday, or the eagle yesterday, excuse me, came at the 11th. It was a 3 at the par 5. Courtesy of Chung Jimin. Now hoping to capitalize on some of this momentum after finally breaking the birdie drought. Launched down the fairway, kicked out from the left border and back towards the middle.
민수가 큐샷이래.
Through 4 events, she's only averaging the 64th longest distance on tour, and the accuracy has failed her at times outside of the top 100, though she's certainly cleaned up that area of her game. Yuhei also cascading off the hillside to the left. 28th longest driver on tour early in the season. Has been 76% accurate on the par 4s and the par 5s. Trying to equal her 2-win total from 2021, just 5 events, excuse me, into the season for Yuhei Ran. Might have even found the sand trap. Chancel for birdie to send the gallery into raptures, nearly. Isomi was nervous for a moment, looking like it was darting out to the right, but she does save her par at number 12. Well, there aren't many like it across the country, across this part of the world, to be honest. The breathtaking par 4 14th. The view alone from the green up to the tee blocks will take your breath away. Pacquiao will be the first to tee off. Definitely a hole where you can make up a bit of ground. Only one player inside of the top 50 bogeyed here yesterday. And that was Chung Yoon-ji. Well, speaking of birdies, EA1, their 4th of the day. Decent effort from in close. More than decent, formidable at that. Setting herself nicely with a good approach. Svensson's really bursting onto the scene in 2019. She has won at least one event per season. Never has she won more than 2 in a year. Admitted to the tour back in May of 2019 and nearly finding an eagle. Just a ball width away from holing out from the fairway. What a shot that was. Back on the tee at the par 3, Jian Sol 7-iron. She had parred her first 2 par 3s, Jihan Sol. A pretty good effort from the tee blocks. Coming up short, needed more than a little bit more club on that approach, but she will be putting. Well, 10 under, the new score to beat the first player into double digits, Lee Dae-yeon. Right now, the projected cut line at 1 over. So as it stands, 72 players have a score good enough to take them to the final round tomorrow on Sunday. So we're near the end of our first hour of coverage. We'll take one more quick break and be right back to Kingsdale right after this. Well, our leader did find the sand. After all, here she is, getting ready for her second at the 14th. 115 meters from the trap to the green. This will naturally have a ton of loft on it as she tries to escape a bit of a predicament here. Above the hole and in a decent position considering where she ended up off the tee. Over to 12. Kyochon looking for birdie inside of a meter, but a miss to the right. Just over 80 meters remaining for Kyochon at 14. Bounces and slides to the left edge. Wind at her back definitely makes that a little bit more tricky. Dial in that distance. Isomi. An attempt at birdie, yes. Tip of the cap as she finds a circle on the scorecard for the third time and the first since the 9th. And a very short distance birdie putt for you, Hiran. Third birdie on the day for her as well. 6, 9, and now 12. She moves to 6 under into a tie for 4th with Chu Hee-rim. Well, the birdie bonanza could roll along. Jihan Sol, does she have it this time? Yes, she does. Give her 4 on the day. And thoroughly enjoying having the energetic and vocal patrons back out on course. That is a smile of relief as much as it is a smile of pride. Over to 14 with Kyochon. Basically from the fringe, working back towards the center of the green. 8 meters to go between her and a birdie, giving herself a chance. Great read of the green, just a little bit short in the end. Tap in par. On pace to equal her round of 70 from yesterday. Once again from the 14th tee, Isomi, first to play in the group. Taking to the skies and bouncing it off the sprinkler head and safely into the green. And Idayan, this would be her most remarkable birdie of the day. 8 meters out. Never wanted to come back right. The streak was bound to end eventually. It will halt at 4 in a row. Though in no real danger of her third bogey of the day. And the 13th. (11 of 12) greens in regulation on the day. Yuhei hasn't found back-to-back birdies more than one spell this weekend, though there was a period after the turn yesterday where she went 3 in a row. So depending on how you look at it, you could say she went back-to-back twice, or only one successive run of consecutive birdies, unlike Yan, which we have seen her do 3 times today. She'll settle for par and still has that 1-stroke edge heading into her final par 3 of the day. Well, when we lose somebody beneath the trees and down the hill, you know things are a little bit dodgy. Really, right now, this is just a plan to punch back out into the fairway. The lie, considering where she is, could be still rather treacherous. Still trying to figure out if she can clear some of the debris around the ball without causing it to move, which of course would be a stroke penalty. This is 15 with Dayan. Her only bogey since the first hole came at the par 3 8th. Otherwise, she has birdied the other 2. Roll all the way to the extreme back perimeter. Keeps herself in play. Jin Sol. Catches its backspin towards the rear of the green. Will ensure that she's still putting. Meanwhile, she decided she could not move that branch without causing the ball to move, so making it a little bit more complicated to get out of this mess for Kim Soo-ji. Still somehow getting herself pin high. The absolute continuous display of skill on this tour never ceases to amaze me. You saw me from a much kinder lie in the fairway. Nice up for her as well. Well, a little flop from off the edge of the green for Yuhei Ren. Carrying a bit more speed than ideal, though doesn't leave herself with too daunting of a par putt. About 1.5 meters to beyond the pin. Well, next week, another 3-round competition, the 2022 NH Investment and Securities Ladies Championship from Suwon, all in the lead up to the 2022 Doosan Match Play Championship. We will round out the month of May with the 10th E1 Charity Open at South Springs before opening the month of June with the Lotte Open at Bears Best. For birdie here at 13. Well, kept it on the razor's edge, just a little bit under hit. It will be a tap-in par. Still only just 1 under for the day. Back with Jan Sol at the 14th. Beyond 10 meters and heading left. Good balance of power, just marginally missed to the left. Well, it's a 157-meter par 3. Lee Dayan had an extra club, evidently. Finds herself off the back. Back inside 2.5 meters. And what would be her 2nd consecutive par. Her day has been so electrifying that she has not had 2 pars in a row all day long. The 2nd and the 9th. The only time she was not over or under par on the day. Now you hear in. This is the par save. Just a little tap to get it started on the downhill and carried too much speed. Goes right over top. Perhaps one of those where she would have preferred to have the pin in, and it is a bogey. Taking that effort at 12 right off the scorecard, just 1 hole later. Now Kim Soo-ji from nearly the marsh by the water, still looking at a birdie. It's going to be a right to left putt. Just enough. Catches the inside edge and it drops for the first birdie for her since 7, and I don't think she can believe the end result there after near disaster off the tee. Quite the up and down. Say we won't find a more impressive one than that today. 6.3 for Pak Yeol for birdie. Millimeters shy to the right. Now Isomi to move to 5 under. And we're tied for 6 with Park Ju-young. Just didn't hit it. Disappointing 2-putt 14th. refocusing and preparing. Bit of a complex par putt, despite being relatively close to target. There is more than enough room here for a lapse in concentration to cost the stroke. To stay at 10 under. Steps out. And she has missed. Something about the distance, the line, caused her a moment's hesitation. Broke the concentration and has once again found bogey, so the time alone atop the leaderboard is short-lived. Now back level with Kyochon and Lee. In case you were wondering, 38 meters the drop from the tee block to the green. We are not exaggerating when we are saying it is quite the impressive, almost awe-inspiring hole here at number 14. New Iran, despite not capitalizing at the last and finding her first bogey of the day, is still within 4 now after the bogey from our now co-leader. Preview of the 16th. Over the valley and up into the fairway, a significant dip and then back uphill slightly above the feet by about 5 meters from the tee blocks, and the climb is not done there. Another hazard to the left with the trees and the downslope. 4 separate sand traps to the right of the green. Do not want to be short here. That is going to cause a handful of problems with the pin location today. In the exact center of the width of the green and 10 yards from the back. It is also Kyochon charitable hole here at 16. Anyone who lands, and it has to stop inside the circle painted in the middle of the fairway, results in a 500,000 won donation, the Honey donation zone. Pretty good contender. In Putt, she has been not at her best, but certainly consistently strong with driver. Takes a ride down the hill, avoids both sets of sprinklers to the right of the bullseye, but comes up a little long. Next effort, this time it is off to the left, though still in the fairway. Here, 0 for 2. Idayan, the last to play at 16. Well, bounces twice, but carries beyond. All three members of this 27th group, who began at 12:15, are all away nicely into the fairway. Yue ran up and out of trouble. Pretty good depth at that time. As we've said, you are preferably not short. Isomi carries the pin and will be looking down at a birdie, trying to finesse her way back onto the front page of the leaderboard, back to a three-way tie at 9 under par. And you see Isomi in the sea of those tied for 7th at 4 under. More action from the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open continues in moments. Well, we've only had 6 birdies here today at the 16th. 30 bogeys, 4 double bogeys. But unsurprisingly, par has been the overwhelmingly average score here. 112 meters out for Idayan. 73% inner greens in regulation throughout the day. And that is a massive leap towards making up for her bogey at the last. Well, it had the pace to get up the hill. How much more ground can be made up? UARN comes within 5 meters or so. Slightly pulled to the inside from Isomi. Still on pace for another round of 70. Now, Bukbomi, we've already seen a rather exceptional eagle on the day. Does she have a long-range birdie in store from just inside of 9 meters at the back border of the green? She does. Well, quietly, and hardly quietly with how much success she's found after settling in for round number 2, she has herself on the outside looking in, but still in the chase. Jiang will be next. A much closer look for birdie. No, a still noticeable amount of movement. Really anything outside of 4 meters in 2022 has resulted in par or worse over 50% of the time, averaging 1.92 putts per hole, and looking for birdie here, but it's short. On the tee at 16. In the home stretch, and yes, perfectly inside the Honey donation zone, 500,001. There we go. Isomi running out of holes to make up some ground. And out onto the cart path, and right back on it. Doesn't want to roll. Well, they're going to have a pretty good vantage point of the next shot for Isomi.
플레이하겠습니다.
And Jian sold the final to tee off here at 16. A little cooler out on course today from yesterday. 50% humidity, feeling like 21 degrees at the moment. The wind is coming out of the west at the moment, 5 meters per second. Now Idayan, slightly better than a 50% probability of making this and getting back to 10 under. Oh, around she goes and stays out. She has not had that kind of misfortune with the putter today. Typically, those are falling for her. And watch the reaction. Nearly 180 degrees around the cup and jutting back out to the right. With the way she's played, she is still poised to finish the day in sole possession of the lead, at least amongst those who are already in the clubhouse. But it's definitely gotten a lot more interesting now, having left really 3 strokes off the board. The final few holes, the bogey, and a couple of missed birdie opportunities. Yuhei Ran, meanwhile, keeping herself within striking distance. She will no doubt be a factor tomorrow. The third par 3 of the day of the course, 157 meters. 152, excuse me, the 15th. 5 meters longer than its predecessor on 13, the final of the round. The Peninsula Green, surrounded by a sand trap protecting the front. Water with about 270 degrees of coverage and playing very difficult today. The pin location 13 yards from the right side and inside of 15 meters from the back. Only have seen 6 birdies here. And Yuhei Ran teeing off first with 6 iron. Staying corrected, the final to tee off in the group, but the only to not come to rest on the putting surface as she's taking too much club there. Well, 3 rather different lies for the second shot. Isomi, of course, along the perimeter of the cart path. Out comes the driver to measure out her free relief. This isn't the first time we've seen this on this particular hole, and unsurprisingly, with some of the top names in the groups we've been following the past 2 rounds, we've seen some pretty good outs from here. Now the trick, of course, is getting this to stay perched up and not roll right back down onto the cart path. It's 124 meters back of the green from this location. In the end, she gets a little bit of assistance and has 214 meters made from the tee block. So while we wait for Isomi to get sorted, here's Kim Soo-ji. We'll be riding that wave of momentum after a really nice up and down. A much more conventional approach to the green this time. She's in between clubs here. No doubt throwing off the game plan with a little bit of extra distance made up. Jihan Sol ready when it's her turn. She'll go ahead and play through while we wait for Isomi. Catches that one a little bit fat. She struck that with a massive thud, and she too has found the cart path and onto the drain at the back. You can really see and hear the flag flapping in the wind with the wind at her back, and that just helped carry her right over the green.
그래 안 돼.
절대 안 나와요. 진짜 정말은 콩콩이
She currently sits in a tie for 8th position, 5 back of the leader. Doesn't want to be quite as far as Jian Sol was, but definitely wants to get up there. She comes up shy, not quite taking that step up onto the green. So she will be trying to set up a par with her next, and down both she and the patrons go towards the green here at the 16th. Meanwhile, UA ran 1 hole in behind that group. Bump and run up just short of pin high and inside of a couple of meters to finish this hole off. Two final holes to retake that lead for Lee Dae-yeon, her final par 4 of the day. Nicely down and into the fairway. And Bakbomi for another birdie, this to take her inside the top 10. Bogey at the second, and she has turned it on since. Birdies, now 5 of them. And the Eagle, of course, at 11 has herself level with Isomi, EA1, Jaeun, Matasom, Park Do-young, Jaeun Soo, all at 4 under. UARN, unless she makes this par, she'll be joining them, but she should be okay. Four back. 3 holes to play.
어?
So me doing a bit of a scout. Also
아깝진 않으면 되지 않을까?
head to the back to try and lend some clarity and assistance to
걸치는 것까지는
Jansol, who's
괜찮은 걸로 알고
saying
있는데.
this is where the ball came to rest on the drain and making sure she's correctly taking her relief. Never hurts to get a second or third opinion. Now that she's figured out where she will be striking this from, quick walk up to the top, check out the slope, figure out how far she needs to carry this. We'll rejoin them in a moment, but first from the 16th tee. And only just inside, and the caddy appreciates the end result. Exact center of the fairway, and another 500,001 donated. And Jansol is ready from off the back at 16. Flopped up and didn't carry it enough, so she's stuck on the fringe again. She had 3 birdies on the front 9, and barring some kind of miracle, 3 bogeys, excuse me, on the, this will be the 3rd on the back 9 after 3 birdies on the front. Jansol was long, Isomi is short. Here she is with a similar type of shot required here to get up towards the cup. And then we'll trickle down nicely. So manageable par. And the approach for our co-leader at 17. Struck that pure about 4.5 meters separating her and another birdie. And as the round winds down for a featured group, the numbers of patrons following extra close continues to grow. The wind really picking up. Jansol, ideally she holds out and saves par, but she will be dropping a stroke here after all. Young waiting for the green to clear. The only putt for birdie of the group. Needs to get back right now. what this trio had in mind, to say the least. One of the 3 bogeys of the round for Kyochon came here at 16. Park Joo-young also dropped a stroke. Park Do-young and Jae-eun all seeing 5s. Kim Ae-rim, the 3-time champion here, a bogey. Park Yeol, having just played through, dropped a stroke. It is not an easy finish, these final few holes. Now Isomi for par. Opportunity slips away. Her second bogey of the round, her first since the 5th hole.
오케이. 소리는 듣고. 안 벗어나면 돼, 무조건. 자신이 그냥 돼.
Jan Sol's attempt to make sure that this is only 1 drop shot. It'll take her from a tie for 16th down to a tie for 23rd. Now back-to-back bogeys. Outside of the top 20 now. And the only par of the lot belongs to Kim Soo-ji.
힘들다.
Yu Hae-ran from the exact middle of the fairway. Slight draw around the rest of this dogleg, and no, she can't stay up. Well, that takes birdie quite likely off the table. Seen any 3 putts here or worse at 17. 3.5 meters out. 50% chance of holing out. Snatching the lead back, looking for her first birdie since the 13th. It's under hit. So unable to pick up a stroke through 35 holes now in the round. She shares the lead at 9 under par. Projected cut line still remains at 1 over, so currently 72 players in position to advance to the final round tomorrow. We're nearing the top of the clock. We'll step away and return. Round out the final few holes here in rounds number 2 of the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open. One of three players at 9 under par. Lee Dayan. 11 of 13 fairways in regulation. The greens in regulation hasn't quite made her putts as simple as possible. Has also helped contribute to the 3 bogeys she has seen on the round. She's reached the final hole. 22 hours from now, might she be in position to find the win? Good rip with the final drive of her day. Iran needing to climb back up towards the cup. Still leaves that rather short. And we'll have a tester with her next. Well, it's on line. Grazes the outside edge. And just stays out of the cup. That would have been an exclamation mark on the round. Eugenie, she goes out with the 36. She comes right back in with a 36. And unfortunately, will be bowing out of this competition. That birdie would have kept her above or inside of the cut line. She will exit Kingsdale with a near miss for birdie. Aaron trying to save par. Oh no. Pulled to her inside left, and she will be leaving a stroke on the table here. G. A long look at birdie. This would take her to 3 under par inside of a tie for 14th. Nope. Just comes up short and slightly off to the right. So she will finish the day 1 over in a tie for 24th at 2 under par. Bogeys at the 3rd, 4th, and 16th hole on the day. She had back-to-back birdies at 6 and 7. EA1 currently sitting at 4 under par. She is the top rookie on tour. Nearly a 60-point cushion over Matt Dassolm, and just comes up short. She is slightly off to the left, so a tap-in par. It is a round of 69. Only 1 blemish, a bogey at the 12th to go along with 4 birdies on the round. Dayan, a massive crack from the fairway. And that is going to roll over the fairway and sit up on the fringe. She certainly went for it. Had the wind giving her an extra boost as well. just shy of the green, but a really nice shot with her second. Now, while improbable, a hole-out eagle would give her a 2-shot edge heading into Championship Sunday. At the moment, 44 players under par, and another dozen at even. 5 p.m. local time at Kingsdale. And the final few featured groups finishing out their round here on Moving Day. Heading out to the penultimate tee, Yuhei Ran. Again, losing her bottom hand on the follow through.
것 같은데?
This time it costs her some serious accuracy as she's driven that straight into the left hill off the fairway. 2 bogeys in her last 4 holes, trying to clean it up and straighten it out on the way in. Isomi can't escape the rough to the outside of the green as she drives that right into the hillside and takes all of her speed away. We'll have to still play one more with the wedge. Yuhei Ran, Park Ji-young, Chien Sol, Cheon 2, and Kim Soo-ji, your top 5 in the points. Yuhei Ran, Park Ji-young, also the first 2 on the money list. Lee Ga-young 3rd, Lee Cheon 2 also 4th in that category, and Chang Soo-yeon rounds out the top 5. EA1, the top rookie, Mata Som, Uni Na, Kwon So-yeon, and Park Dan-yu. The top 5 rookies through 4 events this season. Well, she went for it in 2. She came up just shy. But if she can get this in close, leave herself with a small birdie putt, she could still have a chance to take the lead into Sunday, but mishit that. And now still needs to putt up the slope and right back on down, so a figurative swing with a poor actual swing from Lee Da-yeon. Here's Isomi. She's going to putt from the fringe. Underhit and off to the right. Drops her back down to where she started the day at 2 under par, and now down into a very long list of players tied for 23rd at 2 under. The LF Hazy's point standings nearly through 66% of this event. Yuhei Ran leads on 2,310 points. Park Ji-young 2nd, Chien Sol 3rd. Lee Ga-young and Lee Seung-yeon round out the top 5. And 6th, EA1, Park Gyo-in 7th, Chang Soo-yeon, Isomi, and Shanana are 6 through 10. Season-long competition for the jostling of positions in the LF Hazy's point standings. The consecutive top 10 result helping really cushion that lead. Nearly 820 points between Yuhei Ran and Park Ji-young in that particular standings. Into the final round, the gap between she and Park Ji-young, 32 points in the point standings, and nearly 31 million won separating the two, and nearly the best shot of the day for Yuhei Ran. She's had a couple close calls, great approach shots, excuse me. One more look at this one. On a frozen rope and just centimeters shy. Shots like that helping explain why she is off to such a torrid start to the season. Now Lee Da-yeon, this is her last chance to make up some ground and put one shot between her and her current co-leaders. would be fitting based on the run of form she's had today, but she comes up just shy. Well, improves on her impressive round yesterday with a 67 on the day. She shares top spot with Joyeon and Lee Ga-young after 36 holes of play. Now, the mere formality, the tap in for Yue Ren. Finally back on her birdie game for the first time since the 12th. And she will make her way to the 18th tee. So 5 minutes ago, you would have been quite justified in thinking that there would be an outright leader. And Yue Ren with one final hole, currently in a tie for 7th. Should she find a birdie, she would move into a share of the top 5 as she paces the field. Lee Ga-young could certainly make a dent in her climb up the money list with a result tomorrow. EA1 should be noted. Finished the day with a round of 69 and currently sits in the top 10, so continuing to impress on the rookie leaderboard. More players finishing their round. Kwon So-yeon trying to pick up a birdie for the first time since the 5th hole, but it is a rather disappointing day of 74. Atasom, who is second in the rookie standings, also sharing identical rounds through 36 holes to EA1, 71 and 69. Chan Sol getting all the more close to the putting surface, nicely forward and avoids the sand. But the wind is very much at the players' backs here on the fairway. Could encourage a little bit more aggressive play. Louise Somi has seen her fair share of things going off the rails and goes conservative, and you can't fault her for that. After an opening round of 72, she is on pace for a round of 70 on the day as it stands, up 25 spots from where she finished the day yesterday, one of the serious fast chargers. And while there is a 3-way tie for top spot on the leaderboard, there is a 3-shot cushion between the next lowest scorer in sole possession of 4th at 6 under par. It is Chuhei Reem. One final break. We'll be back with the 18th hole for our featured group, Yuhei Ren and co. here, the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open. We'll head straight to 18. Iso Mi from 81 meters out. Her approach at the par 5. Gets a little bit of a pull back towards the pin, but about 6 or 7 meters separates her and birdie. Absolutely launched. The slightest of draws to the left side of the fairway, but safely in play. She didn't miss a single fairway yesterday and was up by 9 yards on average. Her driving distance yesterday with 257.3. Pretty remarkable clip that. And the next approach also going long, and while the wind has tapered off slightly, still a bit of a tailwind, adding a little bit more extra distance, though that it's certainly helping on the tee. The defending champion has had a quiet 36 holes, but she has been anything but today. Her 6 under par score through 17 holes is the lowest on course. Jianzo, the last to approach from group number 29. She too is going to get that roll towards the back, and again she is right off. The pin today, just 15 yards from the back, 12 yards from the right. And Jiang looking very similar to the drive from Yuhei Ran. She gets a kick out to the left and will sit atop the hill. And away they go. They began the round at 12:35 local time. Just under 5 hours ago. Well, one of the players that is getting a little bit closer to the cut line than what would be comfortable.
Oh, nice birdie.
That will give a little bit of breathing room to Hong Jin-young too. Catches enough of the inside edge of the cup and rattles it down. Taking a look at the early forecast for tomorrow. Another gorgeous day on the horizon here at Kingsdale. Forecasted 20 degrees. Should be fantastic conditions where the 18th green tomorrow will certainly take center stage. It's another 800 million won purse up for grabs. 144 will be reserved for the winner. That combined 800 million won is around 630,000 American dollars, 511,000 British pounds, or 600,000 euros for those looking for a comparison. Yuhei Ran another high lofted draw and gets nicely inside the approach range. Jian Sol, does she have a birdie in store? She had her line. She needed a little bit more pace, but it is a very nice chip. And not a whole lot to do as she trades the wedge for the putter. So it is a round of 72 today. 3 bogeys, 15, 16, and 17, along with another at 10. A little bit of sassy appreciation for the incredible group that has been supporting her from her very first shot of the day. There's Pak Jiyoung. Nearly found the similar end result from what we saw Lee Daeyeon do just about 15 minutes ago. Back to the green, Kim Soo-ji is breaking away to the right, but the distance was right on. And a tap in par. 3 birdies on the day, a bogey at the third, and a combined score of 70. She finishes in a tie for 23rd heading into Championship Sunday. Bomi, is she going to try and reach? She certainly went for it, and she is going to find the green, though only for a moment, carrying nearly all the way to the grandstand. So she can flop back up. And if she can get there in 2, that will take her inside the top 5 and will give her a shot to repeat as champion here. Will be an absolutely incredible day tomorrow. And note that, as is something of a tradition or routine scheduling change for the final round, we will be on the air 2 hours earlier at 1 p.m. local time. That is 0400 GMT. Set your calendars accordingly. Well, it is closing time on moving day. Our featured group down to their final approach shots. The wind picking up and making things a little bit more interesting in this home stretch. Reminder of the pin placement on the day. 78 meters back is Yuhei Ran. Last group to come through all carried nearly to the back. That is the best in recent memory from Yuhei Ran. Compensating for the wind exactly right, and is in a very good spot to try and find one final birdie on the day. On the quest for her second win of the season in just 5 events. Pretty remarkable start to 2022. Shows you a nice vantage point of how long this 18th and final green is here on the hill course. Relatively narrow, but nearly 29 meters in length. With the wind as an aid, Jiang tried to reach into. Akbomi got it there. Not only did she get it to the green, but she was nearly off the back left towards the grandstand, just to the back of Pak Jiang. So a very high degree loft wedge. She tries to get up over the mound, 47 meters back. Needs to carry it up. She too will be more than satisfied with that. Could very well be looking at 3 chances for birdie here at 18. In the meantime, back to 17. Nice and in close inside the shadow of the flag. And now the defending champ. I'll bump and run this. About 2.5 meters away from a birdie. What a round. Makes that birdie, and it is a 65, which would easily be the lowest score of the tournament. And you're wondering if Akbomi was going to fade a little bit into obscurity after a 2-over round of 74 yesterday, but she certainly has been putting together a good bit of work. And as our featured group gets prepared for their birdie putts, a check-in with the Jump Tour. Kicking off again, and as we see some of the highlights, around through the top 5, Kim Min-sun with 8.7 million once so far collected on the season. Kim Soo-hyun at 6.1. Uchi-won at 5.9, nearly 6, so she is very much close to not only the second position, but also very close as well to staking claim to that top spot as well. The stars of tomorrow on the Jump Tour, Kim Na-young and Kim Soo-ah round out the top 5 on the money list. And now the first of 3 birdie putts. This one belongs to Kyochon. And we are off to a good start of the 18th green. A slow but steady day, 16 pars, 2 birdies, including 1 at the last. And now after a nice approach, we'll tap to get it started down the hill on the way in. June moving inside a tie of the top 15. Yuhei Ran. Why not one final birdie for her round? Back to back to close it out. A 3-under round, just as she had done yesterday. 69 once more, and finds herself within 3 shots and will be in the penultimate group tomorrow. Some magic at 18 like she saw in round 3 last year. A putt for birdie and a 65 on the day. Pakpo Mi, she walks it in. 7 under. Brings her within 4 strokes. And look at that scorecard. A bogey at the second, and you might have been thinking, we're going to see a repeat of yesterday where she found some struggles, but no, from there, it's absolutely dialed in. 2 birdies on the front 9. 4 on the back, including an eagle at the 11th, the only eagle of the day, and the defending champion certainly has a shot at it tomorrow. We saw how overcome with emotion she was when she took home her first professional win, and a chance to repeat here and become just the 2nd repeat champion in the very short history of this event. So an exciting finish with 3 birdies, navigating the 18th green to perfection. Let's go through our moving day highlights. We will begin on the 6th hole. And this was before we joined coverage on the day, but Cho Ayan, having started on the 10th, was putting together a charge, and that was the final birdie of her day. That took her to 3 under for the day, up to 9 under par. Lee Ga-young also was very impressive, also starting at the 10th tee. She would find 2 bogeys through the first 6 holes of her round, and then from there, absolutely incredible performance on the lake course, including 5 birdies, one of them this effort from distance. That was 3 birdies in 4 holes, a good little streak she put together on the 4th. 123 meters out, high lofted shot from Lee Ga-young. All the way to the back, and then the most exciting moment in the sport. Will it have enough to get in? Not quite, but it sets up a simple birdie finish. Then to the 8th. Kicks back out to the right just in time. Really does a full revolution of the cup and would fall. That took her to 8 under par. And she wasn't done there, as we will see right here on 9. Joanne, of course, wasn't going to let her partner steal all of the thunder. That would have taken her to 10 under. A near miss to the inside, so she would tap in for a par and a round of 69 after her 66 in the opening round. And from just outside of 2 meters to secure the round of 67, which is what we saw Lee Ga-young as well. That has her in a share of the lead. Now more of a recent highlights, but There were many birdies to be found inside the first half hour. We showed you the birdie montage. Let's go through it again. That was at the 6th at that point. Her third birdie of the day. Then at 7. Right side of the fairway, 92 meters out. Carries it just over that little mound defending the cup. Would have a simple tap-in finish to the 10th. Starting the hill course with yet another birdie at that point, the 5th on the day, and it was the start of a 4-hole run on the 11th, the par 5. You'll notice a theme. These are not short and simple birdies, but she was absolutely dialed with the flat stick today. Back to back, she'd have 2 more. Really was one of everything. Birdie at the par 4 10th, birdie at the par 5 11th, then on the par 4 12th. This was a tricky one. Just the slightest of taps to get it started. Hope you're online, and she was. 1 more to record at the par 3 13th. Another one that catches the inside edge and would drop. She would bogey the 15th. That would take her down from that 10 under mark. Nearly drove the green. Nearly found it in 2, excuse me, and then came up a little bit short into that position there where she was a little bit further out than she would have liked and would have expected based on where she took her 3rd shot from. Comes up shy by centimeters, so she would simply tap in. Opening round 68 today, a 67 for the current joint score to beat at 135 strokes and a 3-shot cushion. Yuhei Ran with her birdie at the last moves her into a tie for 4th. She joins Chuhei Urim at that mark, and then Bakbo Mi, a 7 under 65, the lowest score of the event thus far. Though there could still be a little bit of a shakeup down the stretch here with 3 holes to play for Kuchiyu, who is on the bottom of the front page of the leaderboard, but still has some time to make up some ground. There is a logjam at tie for 16th at the moment with 9 players at that mark. 2 under par, another common score through 36 holes, all the way down to the top 33 golfers. 43 players currently under par, another 14 at even, and then as we near the cut line, we currently have 13 in a tie for 58th at 1 over. That would be enough to qualify you for tomorrow. We started the event with 132. We've seen 3 withdrawals, and we will cut the field further in half and should be expecting around 68 to 70 players all in action tomorrow on Championship Sunday. One final reminder that we are on the air 2 hours earlier from 1 p.m. local time here at Kingsdale. We will open our coverage and we will crown a champion in the 5th event of the season. We look forward to it based on what we saw today. We should see some low scores, and we should certainly see a dramatic finish with the way 16, 17, and 18 are shaping up. Well, on behalf of our entire SBS crew, really appreciate you joining us, making us a part of your Saturday, and we are thoroughly impressed with how things went today. We cannot wait to be back again tomorrow. Should be an exciting one. Will we have a champion for the 2nd time in Yuhei Ran this season? Will we have a defending champion for just the 2nd time in the history of this event? We will have to wait and see. I've been Adam Jenkins. Thank you so much one final time. Signing off for now and looking forward to welcoming you back tomorrow for the championship round of the 8th Kyochon Honey Ladies Open here on the LPGA Tour of Korea.
이거 포즈 어떻게 해요?
이거
맥주잔도 들어주시고
맥주잔만 잘.
약간 치얼스 이런 느낌.
자, 표정은 네, 시선 좀 보시고요. 표정 밝게 좀 보세요. 네, 좋습니다. 자, 둘, 네, 네, 양쪽 네.
조금만 더 찍을게요.
자, 이번에는 살짝 꼈다가 보세요. 하나, 둘, 셋, 건배. 네, 됐죠? 이번에 제 거 했다가 하나, 둘, 짠. 나 마음만 급해. 마음이 급해 나도. 내 것도 만들어야 돼.
안 하고 짠?
네, 좋습니다. 자, 다시 들고 보이게. 네, 그렇죠. 시선 좀 보세요. 예, 네, 네, 됐습니다. 네, 치킨 드시면 되는 거예요. 치킨 들고 있는 거 하나 찍고 이제 먹는 포즈 하나만 찍고 사진 그거만 찍을게. 들고. 자, 이제 보시고요. 아니, 근데 들고만 찍고 다음에 먹는 포즈. 네. 아, 먹는 거? 아니요, 그냥 들고 있는 거. 들고 있고. 네, 들고 있는 것만. 자, 이쪽. 예, 좋습니다. 자.
저는 더 찍을게요.
이쪽. 네, 됐습니다. 사진.
잠깐만요.
그냥 좀씩 드세요 그냥.
그럼 어디다 버려?
걸음. 안 찍혔죠?
안 찍었어요 아직. 네, 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 좋습니다. 촬영하겠습니다. 표정 밝게요. 네, 좋습니다. 둘. 네. 예, 좋습니다. 화이팅 해서 표정 밝게 부탁할게요. 예, 좋습니다. 예. 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 네, 됐습니다. 됐어요? 김민수님 손 주머니 넣어보실래요? 네, 이쪽에 주머니 넣으시는 게 나은 것 같아요. 네, 좋습니다. 이쪽 보세요. 예, 좋습니다. 갈게.
잠시만요. 가만히 있으면 더
네.
찍을게요.
주문을 봐봐 영상인데.
자, 좋습니다. 여기 앞에, 카메라 여기 앞에 봐야 돼. 그렇지. 네, 자, 촬영하겠습니다. 그렇죠. 네, 앞에 보고. 자, 앞에 보고. 앞에 보고. 얘들아, 앞에 보고. 그렇지, 얘들아. 자, 앞에 보고. 자, 자, 오른손 들고. 그렇지. 자, 둘. 오케이. 네. 자, 하나, 둘, 셋 하면 화이팅해. 하나, 둘, 셋. 잘하네. 아니 앞에 보고 있어야 돼. 친구야. 친구야. 얼굴 나와야지. 얼굴 나와야 되잖아. 자, 하나, 둘, 셋. 화이팅! 승훈이 형은 말 안 할 거야? 해주면 좋겠어. 그치? 하나, 둘, 셋. 화이팅!
우리 세 번째 반복하고 있다는 거.
근데
귀여워. 애초에 여기로 오라고 먹었었고. 여기서 친 거 같아. 근데 그게 진짜 언제 친다? 와. 굿샷. 굿샷. 조용히 안 해봐.
여기가? 미안해요.
신나? 무슨? 와, 굿샷.
어디서 뭐하니?
헐.
아무도 몰라. 공연.
우와, 멋지다.
지금 내가 이렇게 지나갈 테니까 카메라 여기 한번 봐줘. 이거 렌즈. 요거만 봐줘. 요거만. 자, 한다. 손 흔들어줘. 자, 하나, 둘, 큐.
우리 방송 나오는 건가?
응, 당연하지.
어디서 볼 수 있어요?
시
없는데?
분석도 못 맞겠다. 가만히 거 먼저 찍고. 그러니까 점만 찍으면 되니까.
자, 인사해.
처음에 일단 한 장 치라고 한 두 개를 치라고 하고요. 그 다음에 프로님들 저희 지금 하나씩 찍어줘.
너 자랑했었잖아. 한번 멋있게 보여줘.
나공 맞을까봐 공 맞.
괜찮아.
푸트 한번 먼저 쳐라. 너 먼저 쳐.
세게 쳐줘.
너 먼저 세게 쳐. 뒤에 친구는 조금 이따 할게요, 형님.
조금 이따 치자.
우리 티에서 동시에 치는 건 안 되니까.